Fine. So should I start now session? Mute, right? Okay. Okay, fine. Yes, I'll. You are able to see the screen, sir, on the YouTube? Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, dear students, welcome everyone on the Swiflearn platform of learning online. So, in today's session, we are going to learn about separation of substances, right? So, before that, I would like to make some, to bring it to your notice. Just 1 minute. It is just loading the slide. I hope everyone is excited, everyone is happy, safe during the pandemic, right? Because everywhere there is a coronavirus. So please be safe and stay home and enjoy learning, especially on Swiflearn, right? So we would like to this very important thing. Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 3 to 10, right? And these are our main 4 features, as you can see here. 100% live and interactive classes. Then second point is personalized attention, batch with maximum of 6 students only, right? And you will not find this in most of the institutions. Like if you go to college or even if you go to any institution, private institution, there will be having, 30, 40 students, right? And it's quite very difficult for the teacher to interact person to person to each and every student, right? So we have maximum only 6 students, right, in one batch. And so that the teacher can personally guide and help the student to learn the various things, right? So this is a very important feature of our team, Swiflearn. Then third is a dedicated academic mentor team to track and work on students' progress. We have a dedicated team who are very excellent teachers, who are excellent guiders, helpers, counselors, we can say, who help the student to learn the topics very well as to solve the problems of the students, right? This is hardly you find in anywhere. And lastly, very important, cover syllabus as per the school exam schedule and also handle custom requests, right? So whatever the syllabus is board, either it is CBSE or ICSE, all the syllabus will be covered one by one, topic by topic, and everything online, right? With the help of the slides. So this is amazing and excellent way of learning. So each and every one of you who are there live on, right? So I congratulate and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining with us today. So should we go ahead? Everyone is excited to learn about separation of substances, right? Fine. So this is also another features. Just wanted to make a note. Detailed progress reports every week, every month we get detailed reports, whatever the able to cover, how much is able to get the marks, and all these reports are visible to parents as well, right? So parents also are aware, yes, how my child is growing and learning in the academics. And second thing is Swiflearn academic test series. We have a test series along with that, right? We regularly conduct tests and all the results are been provided on the Swiflearn website, right? Every student will get the access to their own, own channel, or I can say own Swiflearn logo, right? Window, and then from there they can access about all their academic scores. This is what you can see here, this area. And third thing is take unlimited practice tests. We also conduct practice tests, right? So this you can see here. Oh, sorry. Fine. And there are subjective tests as well, right? This you can see this fourth thing. Subjective tests, we also conduct that, which are very, very important, right? Not only we focus on MCQs or numericals, we also focus on subjectives, like that. Okay. Just a minute. There was some technical issue. Okay, so I'll just quickly recap. I think the screen was not able to see to students. Fine. These are, as I explained, 100% live and interactive classes, then personalized attention, batch with maximum of 6 students, right? This hardly you find in any of the private institution or in college as well, right? So we have kept a maximum of only 6 students. So personally interact and help the students to grow in their learning. Then we have a dedicated academic mentor team to track all the work progress. That is what this team, third point. And this fourth point is about covers the syllabus as per your board, whatever board you have, either it is CBSE or ICSE. So according to the board, we cover all the syllabus, right? Then next is, we have detailed reports. These progress reports are delivered to your parents as well as it is known to you. It is very, very important, right, for every student. How I'm growing, how I'm progressing towards gaining the good ranks and good marks. Everyone knows, every student is excited and inquisitive about what my progress is. So that's progress reports also we provide. Secondly, Swiflearn academic test series, we have SAT, we call it as. So these SATs are conducted on a weekly basis and monthly basis, right? So that there also you come to know how much you are able to learn, right? Then third is take unlimited practice tests. We conduct so many because saying practice makes man perfect, is it not? So we conduct so many practice tests so that a student can grow and reach to more and more perfections, right? And lastly, subjective tests for school, unit tests, right? Midterm tests, right? Subjective tests and everything. For that also we do a separate tests. We conduct separate tests, subjective tests, so that you can score very good score in your subjective as well. So that is very. So before I go ahead, please subscribe to our channel, Swiflearn YouTube channel, and please press bell icon, right, so that you don't miss any of our updated videos. And please make sure to like it and comment so that we can improve, right, to help you better and better way. So here we go with our first slide. So these are first slide, separation of, I hope my voice is audible and everyone is able to see my screen and visible to me as well, right? So separation, what is the meaning of separation? Yes, separation. Now, if there are two objects, you separate them, right? So this is the basic meaning of separation, right? If there are two objects combined, you separate them, is it not? So as you can see this slide, there is this filter. So you take this substance, right? And you put that into this filter. As you can see here, this mixture is made up of some powder, right? Grains also. So when you filter it, what do you get at this point? What do you get at this point? You get the filtered, right? So whatever is left off on this is the big grains, and whatever the small grains are there, that is being filtered. So this is called as filter, or filtration is done with this device, right? It's called as filter. So this is how the separation. This earlier it was a mixture, and now we have separated the coarse grain from the fine grains. That is how the separation is done with the help of the device filter. Okay. So what we are going to learn, right? So these are the main 5 points we are going to discuss. Differentiate between pure and impure substances. That is the first point we'll discuss. Then, explain mixture and their types. That is the second point we'll discuss. Then we'll discuss about define separation, right? Then describe the need of separation. Then list different that is hand picking, threshing, winnowing, and sieving, right? So let us go ahead. So look at these images. As you can see, in this first image, you can see this one big book, right? And in this second picture, what you can see, there are 3 books with a pencil over it, right? So can you find out what's the main difference between these two? Which book do you prefer to study for a particular subject? Yes, anybody? Which one you will prefer? The big one or the small one? Oh, sorry, big one or the 3 books? Yes, those who are responding, yes, exactly, very good. Those who want to study a particular subject, right, they will prefer to a particular book. Why they will go for a big book, which comprising of many subjects, right? So, because there are separate books available, right? We love to prefer the separate books, different subjects, so that we can study in a sequenced manner, is it not? So there is sequence, you follow some flow, a sequence in your study. So that flow you have to follow, and according to the flow, you have to refer a particular, and as far as I know, most of the students, बच्चों को डर भी लगता है. क्या डर लगता है? अरे इतनी बड़ी बुक कैसे पढ़ेंगे, कब पढ़ के होगा, वो बुक देख के टेंशन आता है बच्चों को. So it's very good. Small books, right? So that's how we can go ahead with referring to the small books and go ahead with the learning, right? But why don't you prefer the first book? Yes. Sir, I want to refer a first book. Okay, there will be some unique students, hardly exceptional cases, hardly 1 or 2. But most of you will go for the separate books, is it not? That is what. Because that single book is in a combined form, which is not easy to understand, right? So the purpose of learning is what? To understand. And if you're not able to understand, right? If you're not able to understand anything from the learning, then what's the use? Is there any use? There is no use, is it not? So first we have to understand all the things, then only we can go ahead in learning. So similarly, this is very, very important. If you prefer a big book, you'll not be able to understand much. But if you refer small books separate, then you can understand well, more deeply, and your concepts are thorough, is it not? So according to the same logic, what we are going to learn is to understand all the subjects in a better way. We use different books for different subjects. Separation of books makes our study pattern easy and effective. You must have heard the saying called as, don't work hard, do smart work, right? So that is very, very important. We don't have to work like a donkey, smartly, right? So we have to be very, very efficient and very, very effective in our learning, right? And that is what is very, very important in our learning process. Now, coming back to, can you give some examples of separation of different substances that you have observed at your home, right? In the kitchen especially, the mother must have done that. Yes, exactly. That's rightly said. Very good. Congratulations. Yes, she is making some rice. So she takes the rice, and she takes the rice in some particular pot, and then she starts checking it whether there are some grains, right? So there is a separation of rice particles from the stone particles. Exactly. That is also separation. Very good. Any other example? Yes, very good. Very good. Correct. So in the fields, you must have seen the farmers. They take all the paddy, right? And they filter it, right, in the air. So when they hold it in the air, that will come in due course of time. In the slides also, I'll discuss that. So when they filter it, keep in grains are falling at one side, and all the dust particles or the stones and everything falls on the other side, right? So that is also separation of all the dust and useless material, right, from the field materials. Very good. So first, as separation of tea leaves with a strainer, you must have observed that, right? Now it's cold season, is it not? So everyone is excited as soon as you get up. Mother, please give me a cup of tea. So once you go and observe your mother, when she makes the tea, what she does, she filters all the teas from the liquid tree, right? Grains are separated from the stones. Very good. And churning of milk or curd to make a butter. Everyone likes the butter. Yes, buttermilk, right? So that is how separation also can be done. The process of separating one or more substances is called as separation. So what's the definition? As I mentioned the example, as you can see this here, this lady is separating all the useless materials from the rice paddies. Very good. Separation of small stones, grains or pulses. That is what. So separation, what is the separation? It's a process of separating one or more substances from a mixture is called as separation. Right. So for separation to happen, you should have a mixture. Mixture should be comprising of many grains, multiple grains, right? And then you separate it like that. Hope everyone is enjoying, everyone is able to understand. Okay. Next, substances. Now there are two types of substances. One is pure. The first is what? Pure substance, right? And the second one is what? Impure substance, right? So what is the meaning of pure substance? The substances that contain only one type of constituent particles are called as, for example, iron or copper. Exactly, correct? Pure means what? Which doesn't have any impurities. In one single word, if you want to define. Pure means which doesn't have any impurities. It is free. That is called as pure. What is impure? Which is filled with impurities. It's simple as that, right? So impure means what? Which is filled with impurities. Pure means what? Which doesn't have any free from impurities. So what is impurity? The substances that contain more than one type of constituent particles are called as impure substances. Example is milk and river water. Right? In river water, there are so many dust particles, waste, then all the dead crops, right? All the plants, right? Grass and everything. So many things are there. So many. River water is a mixture of so many things, right? So that is what is impure thing is. Elements and compounds are pure substances, right? And pure example is iron or copper. That is what the example. Okay. So the substance which contains two or more than two components mixed in any ratio is called as mixture, right? Now, see, simple example I will tell you. Like you have this milk, one glass of milk you have, right? So somebody wants to have a pure milk. So they will take pure milk. But some people cannot digest the pure milk. So they add some little amount of water, right? Digester, right? So they add how much percent? Maybe 10% water they add, 20% water they add, right? So in the glass, they may add 10%. Whatever the 100% of glass is there, 10% they add the water, right? So that is adding the impurities, or we can say it's a composition of water and milk. It's called as mixture. Earlier it was only milk. Now when you add the water with the milk, then it becomes a mixture, right? So now this example I gave you, this is one kind of mixture. Let me give you another example. Let's say you have a rice grains, okay, and you add into that moong, right? So you can visibly see moong dal is of yellow color and rice is of white color, is it not? So this is another kind of mixture. But in milk and water, can you see the water separate out of milk? No. Can you separate the milk and water? No. Can you separate, in the second case, can you separate the moong dal and rice? Yes, you can do that. Although it will take some time, right? But for milk, for the milk mixture, which is constitution of milk and water, that is not possible. But for rice and moong dal, yes, that's possible. We can visibly see rice is of white color and yellow color one is a moong dal. So there are two types of mixture now. One is homogeneous, as you can see this. Homogeneous is the first mixture, and second is heterogeneous. This is the second mixture. Okay. So let us discuss in detail. First, we'll discuss about homogeneous, in which particles of the substance present cannot be seen. As I gave the first example, you remember? Milk and water. Can you separately see the milk and water? No, not possible. Here is another example given. When you add the sugar into the water and you just mix it, can you separate out after mixing the water with the sugar? Can you separate out the sugar from the water? No, never possible, right? So this is which kind of mixture? It is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture means the substances seen with the naked eyes. Very good. Any other example? Yes, very good. Salt and water, exactly. When you add the salt with the water, right? Can you separate the salt again with the water? No, never possible. Is it not? Fine. Then heterogeneous. Best example is oil and water. Exactly. Very good. You all are talented students, huh? Responding very well. Fine. Oil and water. Is it not? So when you take a water, half glass of water, okay, and 25% you add the oil, what happens? The oil will get separated automatically from the water. Oil will be on the upper side and on the lower side will be the water, as you can see in this slide. You're able to see this? This yellow color one is the oil and the blue color one is the water. Very good. Fine. So now the question comes, why do we need to separate substances from their mixtures? Yes, anybody? Why do we need to separate? Yes, exactly. Very good. Because you want to have a pure substance from impure, right? You remember? Pure and impure, right? So that's why I want to separate it out from the impurities. That's why I need to separate. So separation, what is the main purpose of separation? Now we are into the crux of our topic. Why do we need to learn about separation? Because I want to separate out impurities from pure things, right? That's the main purpose of separation. Very good. Okay. So then how to separate? Let us discuss. Go ahead. Need of separation. What is the need of separation? First need is what? Useless and or harmful substances. Very good. That is to remove the purities and impurities. Second is to obtain a pure or useful component. That is correct. Very good. And to remove impurities. The purpose of all these 3 points is same. Right? I want to have a pure thing. I don't want to have impurities. Right? Because impurities will harm me, my physical health or whatever it is. Right? So I want to separate the impure and pure. That's why I need a separation. That's the purpose. That's the whole purpose why we are learning this. Okay? Excited? Should I go ahead? Any doubts so far? Okay, good. Thank you. So now, how can we remove this useless or impure substances? Right? Try to recollect. We discussed one example. In the first slide itself, right? We used the device filter. What we used? The filter, exactly. With the help of some devices, like the filter we used in the earlier first slide, with those devices, we can separate the impurities from pure things. Very good. So let's try to find out. The first thing is, suppose you have a basket full of what? Apples. What do you have? Apples, mangoes, and guavas. And asked to separate them. What would you do? Yes, anybody? What would you do? Yes, very good. What do you take? You'll first of all collect the mangoes because that's the most favorite, is it not? Who doesn't like mango? Everyone likes mango, right? It's a king of fruits, mango. So first I will take out mangoes because that's the most favorite among all the fruits, right? So first I will take mangoes out. Then what I'll do? I'll take apples. I'll start collecting the apples. Then what is left off in the basket? Exactly, very good. Guavas. So that is how I can separate the mangoes from guavas from apples. So that is how the 3 components we got, right? Another example like this. Suppose you are given a solution of salt and water and asked to separate salt from the water. What would you do? Now this is typical question. Can you separate with the hand? No, that's not that easy, man. Is it not? Can you separate? Anybody here? A magician? No, nobody can do that, right? You cannot separate water from salt. Once you mix it, gone. It has to become a salty water, right? So let us discuss this now. This is a very important query everyone must be having. So let us proceed to learn the methods. So methods of separation. What's the first? Hand picking, right? Exactly. The first example, which is mangoes, guavas, and apples. How did you separate all of them? You separated by hand picking, right? First you collected your most favorite fruit, that is mango. Is it not? So that is hand picking process. Next is threshing. Third is winnowing. And fourth is sieving. So these are the separation processes. Threshing is also a method of separation. Winnowing is also a separation process. And sieving is also a separation process. Only thing is what? The devices used in each and every process is different. But the method is always same. The method is called as separation only. Okay. So let us discuss one by one. Excited? Yes. Have you ever observed your mother while separating small pieces of stones or pebbles from pulses or rice? Everyone must have observed, right? That is called as hand picking. Very good. Which method is she using? Separate the stones from the rice or pulses? Exactly. Hand picking process. As you can see this, the elder lady is, taking out the stone particles from the rice. Is it not? This you see in most of the villages. In every villages, farmers, they do that, right? They take the rice. Now the rice is going up, right? And there is in another 15 minutes, rice will come out, and all the farmers will take out the rice, right? That's what the practically happening around, right? Uh, those who are living in the villages, they might have experienced. This is a period of, taking out the rice from the fields. So as soon as the rice is taken out, then it is gone to the machine. Then it separates out the grains, and in those grains there are stone particles as well. So by hand picking, you separate out the stone particles from the rice grains. Exactly. This is called as hand picking. Next is threshing. Threshing means what? You apply a force on these rice paddies against a strong surface. Then what happens? As you can see this in this slide. Are you able to see this? So what happens here? All these paddies are being hit on the strong surface. And what happens because of that? All the rice things come out, right? And all this dry grass will be left out. That is called as threshing. As you can see in this modern days, we use the machines. This is the earlier days, right? Farming. This is now the modern days. They use the machines to do this threshing, to separate out the dry grass from the grains, right? Or we can say the paddies, to separate out this. That is called as threshing. Very good. So threshing is the process of beating stalks to separate the grains, right? If you want to separate the grains from stalks, what do? We use the process of threshing, right? It can be done manually by farmers or by threshing machines. So this is called as threshing machine. With the help of threshing machine, you can separate it out, right? Exactly. Or we can by hand also. That's not a problem, right? Next is winnowing. As you can see this lady, right? What she's doing. Yes. Usually this method is used for what purpose? To separate out the husk from the grains. Whatever the husk is there. Now, those of who have the background of farmers, the parents or their grandparents are doing farming and visited your village, right? They must have seen these processes, right? Farming only, exactly. So as you can see, this lady, what is she is doing? She is separating the husk from the grains. Whatever the husk is there, this husk is called as husk. Right? So whatever is falling here, able to see this? This falling is whatever is falling is at this side, on the front side is your grains, because they have the larger weight. And which one is this lighter weight? That will fall back near the feet of this lady. Are you able to see this? This is called as husk, right? The waste thing, and the grains are falling here. So this method can be used to separate heavier and lighter components of the mixture by wind. So natural resource, wind you use, right? So the heavier things will fall ahead and the lighter things will fall near the feet, right? And ultimately, as soon as the whole process is done, you just separate, collect out all these grains and separate out all the best things, right? So that is how the easiest process of called as which one? Winnowing. Very good, right? So you have also observed that while making a tea, right? You must have observed your mother making a tea. Everyone must be knowing also. Some of you know. Yes, some of you are raising the hand. Yes, we know the process of making the tea. That's great. So we used to filter tea through sieve to separate tea leaves. Which method is this? Yes, now tell me, those who raise the hand. Yes, sir, we know the making of tea. Yes, which method is that? Yes, exactly. Very good. Swing. Very good. So this is what we can do. In the swing process, what we do, this is called as a filter. As you can see, it has some small nets or small holes. It is basically a net, metal net, right? And it has small holes. There are varieties of sieving we get in the market, right? Depending upon what kind of filter you want. If you want to filter out the floor, right? Finer particles or coarse particles, depending upon the requirement, you get different kind of sieves. in the market, right? So this is a flow swing, right? So whatever there are even small insects sometimes in the floor, right? Be it floor or whichever floor you take, right? Bajra floor or jari floor, whatever you take. So there are some insects or there are some unwanted particles which are harmful for our digestion system. So to separate it out, what do? We use the sieving, right? So with the help of this sieving, what we do? We separate out the unwanted things, right? So in this method, the mixture is passed through a filter or sieve, right? The final particles pass through sieve and can be collected below. So this is what the right floor to be used for making chapatis or parathas or puris. Everyone likes puris, right? So this floor can be used now, right? And whatever the unwanted particles are there, that is left off in the sieve and that you can throw it out. It's as simple as that. Everyone can do this, is it not? And the same process is done by your mother. You must have seen that, observed that in the kitchen, right? Also, you must have done that. Those who raise the hand, right? Those who know the making of tea, right? So that is what we can do. The larger particles do not pass through the sieve and can be collected on the sieve. As I mentioned, whatever the unwanted things are there, just will be left off in the sieve and just you throw it out, right? And whatever this useful thing which is falling down is used for making the variety of items you want to make, right? Chapatis, parathas, puris, or sweets, and this and that. So many things you can make. Everyone knows cooking here? At least some experience, right? Everyone should know cooking up. That's very important, right? Fine. So now let us revise whatever we discussed till now. So what are the things we discussed? These are the few common methods of separation. We discussed 3 methods, right? There are some other methods also that, okay, we discussed till now the 4 methods, right? So apart from these 4 methods, there are some other methods also that can be used for separation. So before discussing about them, let's have a quick revision what we discussed till now, right? So first question, what is a mixture? Anybody? What is the meaning of mixture? Mixture means what? Yes, exactly. Mixture means it's a combination of various substances, right? Various grains, as I gave example of rice and mung dal, it's a mixture. Milk and water, it's also a mixture, right? Salt and water, it's also a mixture, right? There can be varieties of mixtures, you can see. Now, what is threshing? Anybody? Remember the methods of separation of mixture. So in that, which one is this? Exactly, very good. Threshing. Threshing is what? What do we do with the threshing? You remember the slide? Let's see, you can recollect. Threshing, yes, very good. Hitting against the strong surface, very good. So what do we do is we take the rice, dry grass, right? Whatever comes out in the rice field, and what do we do? We hit it against the strong surface. That is called as threshing, right? Very good. Now you remember that slide? In that there was machine as well, the modern machine that is called as a threshing machine. With the help of machine also we can do, or in the other on the other picture, if you want, I can just refer to for your reference. I can just go behind. You see this? This is a method, right? So in this method, what you do? These people are hitting this dry grass of rice against the strong surface. And because of that, what happens? All the grains will fall apart, and all this dry grass will be separated out. And this is another machine, yes, that is called as threshing machine. So with the help of this threshing machine also we can do this process, right? Very good. Let us go to the next question. Define winnowing. Yes, anybody? What is winnowing? Anybody? Winnowing. It's also a type of separation only. No, not able to recollect. Anybody? At least some answer. I'm not expecting 100% right answer. At least some part of it. Yes, exactly. Winnowing. Very good. So what is the winnowing? What we discussed in the winnowing? Yes, this is the process. So in the winnowing process, basically what happens? Yes, heavier and lighter particles are separated. Very good. So heavier particles fall ahead and the lighter particles, because of the direction of the wind, fall near your feet. Exactly. So this is how the winnowing process is used for filtering lighter and heavier components of the mixture. Very good. And then the next thing is, what do you mean by a homogeneous mixture? Very simple question. Anybody can answer that. Homogeneous mixture. What is a homogeneous mixture? Sorry. You remember 2 types of mixture we discussed. Yes, exactly. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Very good. So what do you mean by homogeneous? Homogeneous means, yes, the mixture which things with your naked eyes, right? Example I gave is, yes, very good. Milk and water. Can you see the milk and water separately, right? If I take a glass of water, in that I add 5% of water. Can you separate? Can you see that water separate from the milk? No. But in case of heterogeneous mixture, yes, we can see that. In heterogeneous mixture, yes, we can see the separation. As I gave example, please recollect what was the example of heterogeneous. Now that is a question from my side, which is not there in the slide, by the way. Okay, it's a surprise question. Yes, heterogeneous mixture. Yes, anybody? Yes, exactly. Heterogeneous mixture is what happens? We can see the separation. Exactly. Example is oil and water. Very good. So when you take a water, right, and add oil into it, what happens? As soon as you put oil, what happens? Oil will come on the water surface, and you can see that water and oil separation, right? So let us now see the answers. Of course, no need to see. Already you have given the right answers. So first answer is the substance which contains two or more than two components mixed in any ratio is called as mixture. It's a technical definition. You can remember as it is, right? As per your textbook. So mixed in any ratio. It can be 1:1 ratio, 1:2 ratio, 1:3, 1:4, whatever the ratio it can be. It is a mixture of various components, one or more than one, two or more than two, like that. Threshing. What was the threshing process? It's a process of beating stalks to separate the grains, and it can be done manually or with the help of machines. Very good, right? And then, what was the third question? Yes, very good. Winnowing, isn't it? Just 1 minute. Huh? Yes, winnowing. What was the winnowing? Yes, yes. Winnowing is what? The method used to separate heavier and lighter components of a mixture. You remember that lady, with the help of the direction of wind, she was separating the grains from the lighter particles, which are the skin or the husks, right? Very good. And the last question was of homogeneous mixture. The mixture in which the particles of the substances present cannot be seen with our naked eyes is called as homogeneous mixture. An example is sugar solution. Can you separate the sugar from water? Once you add the sugar into the water, you cannot separate. Not possible. Is it not? So I'll just quickly revise. Okay, homework I'll give you at the end of the session. We have another 5-6 minutes to go. Another probably 10 minutes, by the way. Fine. So just quick revision. What we discussed today. Of course, the topic was separation of substances. Why do we need separation? Yes. Why do we need separation? Because I want to. Yes, very good. I want to separate the pure and impure things. And which one I will take? Pure or impure? Exactly. Pure things. Why should I take impure things and harm my body and harm my health? Is it not? Anybody here willing to take impure things? Nobody. Right? So everyone wants pure nowadays. Right? So I want to separate the pure things from impure. That's why I will go for the process of separation. Right? So in this, we discuss all these 4 points: differentiation between pure and impure substances, explain mixtures and their types, 2 types, homogeneous and heterogeneous, separation, definition we discussed, need of separation, right? And the 4 types of, or 4 methods of separation: hand picking, threshing, winnowing, and sieving. Everyone should be able to remember these 4 things. Huh? Hand picking, threshing, winnowing, and sieving. It's very simple. Hand picking, as I give example, apples, mangoes, and guavas. See, remember by example. You try to see the example around you and try to remember the names. By heart. See, everything you have to understand conceptually and remember logically. If you by heart, you may forget tomorrow or day after tomorrow or at the time of exam. Is it not? So what I want you to do is, you have to remember everything logically and conceptually, and try to correlate with the practical examples, right? That is hand picking. Threshing, hitting the object against the strong surface, right? Then winnowing is separating the heavier and lighter parts. You remember that lady with the help of wind, direction of wind, she was separating. And swimming. Swimming is basically a simple example. Your mother making a tea. That's all. Like the best example for swimming, right? So as I discussed, this first example I discussed, which one you'll go for? The set of 3 books, or you'll go for a 1 book, which is a big book, huge book, right? So which one you'll go for? Yes. If you want to learn very properly and understand the topic very well, you have to go for the separate books, right? Not the big heavy book, which by looking at, I'll be of, I'll be fear of, I'll be having fear of, I'll be scared of. Anybody wants to be scared here? Nobody, right? At least I don't want, because I want the things very simple, and so that things are very, very easy to understand, right? So I'll go for which one? The books which are there here. Exactly. Very good. As we discussed that in detail. Okay, I'll just go quickly to the next. So the examples, as I asked you the examples, these 3 examples: separation of tea leaves with a strainer, as you must have seen your mother doing that while making a tea. Grains are separated also, the rice grains, right? Separated from the stone particles in the rice. Stone particles are harmful for our digestion system. And the third one is churning of milk or curd to make a butter, right? You must have seen this also, your mother doing that, right? With the help of either machine or with the help of hand. That is a ravi call it, wooden one or a metal one you get, right? So with the help of that also you can do that. Very good. So what is the separation? That's we discussed. Separation is basically separating the mixture, right, from one or more components. Exactly. The process of separating one or more substances from a mixture is called as separation. Example is separation of small stones from the rice grains or pulses. Very good. So there are 2 types of substances: pure and impure. Pure is the substance contain only one type of constituent particles. Only one type of constituent particles. Like milk. Milk is a pure if you don't add water, by the way. As soon as you milk it from the cow, right? The milk is pure before adding any water, even a single drop of water, right? That is a pure milk, right? Impurities mean what? Impure substances which has more than one type of constituent particles. Very good. That is called as impure. Example is milk and river water, isn't it? Like that. So mixture, then we discuss mixture. What is 2 types of mixture? Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Now remember the example. Homogeneous means which we cannot see the things separately, right? If you add water and sugar, can you see the water and sugar separately? No, that is a homogeneous mixture. And heterogeneous, best example is oil and water, is it not? So when you add water and oil together, what happens? You can see the oil on the top level or the top surface and the water below it. You can see the separation exactly. That's what the heterogeneous substance is, right? So definition, if you go the technical definition, it is a mixture in which the particles of the substance present cannot be seen, right? That is homogeneous. Heterogeneous, yes, we can easily see the separation of substances. That is heterogeneous, okay? But why do we need separation? Yes, exactly, very good. Because I want pure things. I don't want impurities. So to separate the pure and impure, these are the 3 needs, or the motives, or the purpose to remove useless or harmful substances. That's the first purpose. Second is to obtain pure or useful component, right? And third thing is to remove impurities. So these are the 3 purposes. Why do we need separation? Very good. How can we do this? Right? 4 processes, as I gave this example of apples, mangoes, and guavas. And in the second case, salt and water. Is it not? So 4 processes: hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving. Hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving. Right? These are the 4 processes of separation. You see, when you repeat the things, in your mind or by speaking as well, you can easily remember that, right? When you want to by heart some things. Now these technical words as it is, you have to remember, right? So keep on repeating the words. By repeating again and again, you'll be able to easily remember the things. That's a trick. See, in between, I am giving you the tricks and secrets of learning very, very efficiently, right? So please do continue joining our live sessions, right? So hand picking is this, as you must have seen your mother doing that in your home, separating the stone particles from the rice. Threshing, this is what the farmers they do in the rice fields, right? They separate the dry grass or the paddies or the beating stalks. They separate the stalks to separate the grains. With the help of machine also we can do that. And winnowing, separating the lighter and heavier particles, right? With the help of the wind we do that. So you also observe this process is sieving. Very good. Sieving is basically filtering the finer particles, and different types of sievings we get in the market, right? As I mentioned, floor sieving is different, tea sieving is different, right? In the farmings they use different types of sieving. Sieving we get use. So that is what we discuss. Okay, that's done with this session. Okay, so hope the everything right, like pure water. You must have seen the pure water, right? So if you have any questions or any queries or any doubts, you can please write in the chat box, or you can ask now also. I want to give you the homework, because until unless the students are given a homework, they don't study, is it not? So this is a homework. Please note down. First question is, what is the separation, right? You have to define the separation, exactly whatever is being discussed in the slides, and also whatever the definition is there in your books as well. Second question, differentiate between pure and impure substances. You can make two columns and differentiate. What do you mean by pure substance and what do you mean by impure substance? You can give some extra points as well, as per your wish. And third question is, why do we need to separate substances from their mixture? Purposes or the need for separation, need of separation. Remember, 3 needs, right? So you have to remember that and write it. Very good. And the fourth question, explain any 2 methods of separation of substances. How many methods we discussed, by the way? Very good. 4 methods we discussed, but you have to explain any 2 which are your favorite one, right? So you can do that. Okay. So this is what we learned today. First point, pure and impure substances. Second, mixtures and their types. Third, what is separation? Fourth, we discussed need of separation. Fifth, we discussed different methods of separation: hand picking, threshing, winnowing, and sieving. Right, sieving. So these are the 4 things. Okay, thank you for joining with us, and please do subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscribe button, and please press the bell icon so that you don't miss any of our online sessions. Okay, so everyone, I would like to thank for joining us in today's session, and I want you to keep excited for joining the next sessions to learn the miracles of science, right? Okay, thank you for joining again, and please take care, be safe, all the best. Bye bye. Thank you. So I will end this session here. Thank you.